is power and currency is king. I'm your host, Senator Porter, and we have Gabe Kubanda on the show.
How's it going?
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, man.
So this is I guess what you would say the community is asking for this episode. I wanted to have you on before, and because of schedule conflict and stuff. But as the Marguerite and Mingo has been growing, a lot of people have been asking me about arbitrage, rentals, and Airbnb and stuff like that. And what I like to do is have experts that are actually doing it talk instead of me like telling people what to do if I haven't done it. Well, what you've done is very powerful and inspiring. So I want to kind of talk about your story and try to help initiate and educate the community.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So what a lot of people may not know is you were a musician before you got into Airbnb. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I grew up listening to my parents' records. You know, my dad and mom played in church. My mom sang, played a little guitar. My dad played drums.
Okay.
So I first learned a little bit of drums and played jazz drums in high school for a little bit, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
I was a horrible drummer. But my mom taught me a few chords and like some Beatles songs on her guitar, and I still have her guitar. It's like a 1958 Gibson small body guitar that I do most of my records on to this day, you know, still.
And you play drums, guitar, what else?
Hardly any drums. I suck at them, but I can, you know, I can do it. I play a little bass. I can do a little bit of keys, but not you know, maybe just in the studio and have the engineer make me sound good, you know.
Nice. So did you come from humble beginnings or your family like super wealthy?
I wish. That'd be amazing. No, I'm just a working class family. You know, my
Nice.
dad was a welder and a carpenter in the Air Force, and just he worked for Boeing for a long time as well, basically welding air ducts and stuff. And so we grew up in the kind of farm area outside of Seattle.
Okay.
So it was really dark and depressing. It was rainy every day.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain, did you know?
Yeah, you know. I got a funny story about him, but that's for later. It's for off air.
Okay, off-air story.
But yeah, so I grew up loving music and being around music and church music and stuff and being in worship bands and stuff. And I decided to get out of Washington and go to LA for music business school.
Okay.
Ended up moving down to LA, going to UCLA Extension, which is like their evening classes,
Nice.
learning how to manage bands, how record labels operate, how to do music videos and stuff. And I ended up having a bunch of emo rock bands and stuff and
Wow.
a bunch of, you know, little records with those projects. And then I went solo, started my own concert tour after seeing Warped Tour and being on Warped Tour and kind of seeing how they did it. And we called it Epic Proportions Tour.
Okay.
And we took it all around the world for about 10 years.
Wow.
And that was super fun. I got to hang out with a bunch of amazing bands, be on reality TV shows around music, just do a lot of crazy stuff. Tour in Denmark and Australia and Germany and just all over.
That's cool.
And when COVID happened, we were about to launch our kind of next tour.
Mm-hmm.
And since all entertainment kind of died and all the, you know, tours fell off, I was like, you know, I've always wanted to try Airbnb. Why don't I turn in my office in the house that I was renting into an Airbnb and see if we can make some money and survive till, you know, things pick back up.
COVID.
Yeah. And, you know, that kept dragging on longer and longer. And so I started delving more into the world of Airbnb and watching as many YouTube videos as I could, you know, reading as many books on the subject as I could, and just started kind of like hitting the pavement, you know, upgrading, you know, the room. And after about a year of doing that, I was like, wow, if I did this for a living, I could make a really good income. And so I moved to San Diego and I doubled down. And yeah, now I have like 20 properties. I've got 2 more coming.
Nice.
Looking at a 4-plex to purchase, to renovate. I started renting cars on Turo, so I have a small fleet of cars. And I just got my real estate license.
Congrats.
So it's been a wild journey.
Yeah, so let's kind of look at it. And then do you own the properties or do you manage them for other people or do you do both?
Yeah, I do kind of a mix of everything. So I own one. I really kind of scaled up quickly by doing the rental arbitrage and co-hosting method, which is, if we break that down, rental arbitrage is basically you rent a place from the owner.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them if you can sublet it
Right.
and put it on Airbnb. They probably will laugh at you or say no, or why would I let you make more money off of my property, right?
Right.
And there's some negotiations and stuff you can do there, but basically you're paying the rent and you put in all the furnishings and you put it up on Airbnb.
Right.
The co-hosting method is basically where you're kind of property managing for the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're not living there, but you're just managing it for the owner, and you're just taking maybe a management percentage. And you
What
don't have to be a licensed property manager to do that.
What's the percent usually that you charge because you're such an expert?
It depends. I range from maybe 15 to 20% on average.
Okay.
Every situation is a little bit different depending on your involvement and stuff. But the thing I like about co-hosting is it's not your own money.
Sure.
If for whatever reason you have a bad month, you don't have to foot the bill for the rent because
Got it.
you're just managing for the owner. But
Got
of
it.
course, if that keeps happening, the owner's going to get mad at you,
Right. Right.
kick you out.
Right.
So, everyone thinks that it's a passive kind of money rolling in, passive income.
Doesn't sound like
It's
it.
not. It's active.
Right.
But in terms of, making money while you're sleeping
Mm-hmm.
and while you can do other things, that's really what it's providing that cash flow to get you to another level to where it can become a little more passive,
Got it. So then the operation, because when we first met, you were like actually in the middle of flipping a property at the time and you were doing the work yourself. So as it works now, is it still just you or do you have like a team?
Yeah, I've got some team members. I'm actually building it up as we are speaking.
Nice.
Really trying to get some of my workload off so I can focus on these other, endeavors.
Nice.
And also, I've got some new music coming out that I really want to get back to as well. So it's like,
oh,
yeah, I love writing music. I love recording, but I need to find that balance, and that's what I'm working on, like the work-life happiness balance.
sure. Absolutely. As far as like a month, like what are the average of the properties like at its peak? What was the most you've ever seen it make in a month?
Oh shoot,
Like
man!
one of the, not all of the whole portfolio, like one of the most lucrative properties
I had one made like 20 grand in a
in
month.
1 month.
In 1 month, yeah.
Man, that's awesome. I know that guy loved
Crazy.
you.
Yeah. And that doesn't happen all the time, right?
Sure.
I think a lot of people right now are scared. They've heard about Airbnb bust.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff going around about the news. On the news, there's a lot of regulations from the city. We're in San Diego, so San Diego has some really strict regulations.
Yeah.
Mission Beach has really strict regulations and
Okay.
licenses. So really knowing your market and becoming an expert in your field, I think is like super important. You can no longer I hear stories of guys back in the day when Airbnb first started where they throw up a couch, people could just, crash on the couch and kind of co-living, whatever. Now it's much more competitive and you really have to be either, you're competing with hotels and all these other luxury, amenities. And so it's like, you got to find your niche of what works.
Yeah. I've even seen like some people put like boutique hotels on Airbnb and
Our buddy
VRBO,
Rich,
right?
right?
Yeah,
He's killing it. That's another level, right? It's
Right.
like, it's kind of funny when I look at some of these guys who are doing the boutique hotels and stuff and these amazing super properties and stuff. It's like, whoa, that's amazing. I'm doing mostly single family homes, smaller scale, and I've scaled up in my own weird way.
Right.
But yeah, those guys are kind of, mentors and inspirations for me as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you're an inspiration as well because, like you said, you had not a wealthy family, working class family, was in music, and then leveraged that to be where you're at today. So if somebody wanted to get started now, do you do any mentorship? Do you have a course? Do you have anything going at the moment, or are you just kind of working on your own thing?
Right. Everyone's got a course, right?
I mean, some
Everyone's
people, it's a way to.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Yeah.
Well, if it's done right, I think it's great. If
Mhm.
you just are kind of doing it to grab the bag, I think that's kind of messed up. But
Yeah.
I think that if you're saying, hey, I've actually done this was work for me, I mean, you should do that.
Mhm.
And if you can make money teaching people so you don't have to say it over and over versus,
Yeah.
say, hey, watch this course, it'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everything's in one place versus YouTube will take you all over the place. And then sometimes the YouTubers, in my experience, they haven't actually done it. They just read about it, or they went on ChatGPT and they're just kind of reading what to do.
Yeah.
And, it's easy to know the path, but walking the path is way different, right?
Yeah, and for me, like even with school, I was never great at school or math or like remembering anything, anything. But like for me, the way that I learn is I just have to get in it. I have to get down and dirty. I have to just put my hands in it and figure it out and make a lot of mistakes. I think YouTube University is a big leveling field in terms of knowledge. So at least you could get a decent amount of information to start, just free information. And then, like you said, maybe buying a course or something to level up or to get some really good knowledge that maybe isn't out there for free all the time is a great thing. I may end up partnering with some people on doing a course or something in the future.
I think you should.
Right now I'm doing a lot of consulting as well. So people will kind of like call me up and we'll do like, kind of personalized things.
Okay.
I've noticed when in the Airbnb world or the short-term rental world, let's call it,
Yeah.
And then we have the short-term rental and the midterm rental world and government contracts and travel nurse housing and corporate contracts and insurance providers and all these other little niches that kind of are similar.
New, yeah.
There's a lot of value to be had there,
Sure.
And so I've been consulting on a lot of those for people who just really want some detailed analysis on like, will this actually work for my property in my specific location with my weird house angles or setup or whatever?
What's your favorite, I guess, option out of the ones you listed? I heard midterm rental is really good. Traveling nurse is really good versus just your regular Airbnb. What's your opinion?
Well, I kind of do a mix of all of those because I feel like if you have a home and you have it furnished, you can use it for short term. You can use it for midterm. You could even use it for furnished long term. With a lot of the things that happened over the last few years with a bunch of squatters coming in and like not leaving, there is a huge benefit to homeowners actually owning their furniture inside because that's their personal property. They can remove it and come into the house at any point. If they have the utilities in their name as opposed to the tenant's name, that gives them an extra little layer of security to be able to do some stuff with.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're a little savvy on that front, you can really kind of like safeguard yourself from some potential really bad problems with those type of guests that move in and say they live there and they're not paying and they're not leaving, Same with short term, you can kind of prove it. If someone's squatting near a house, you'd be like, here, officer, here's their Airbnb reservation. It was here till Friday and they're here another week,
Right. So they
come kick these guys out
to back you up. And then does Airbnb give like insurance and stuff to the homeowner?
They do have, they don't have an actual insurance, but they have a $1 million guarantee.
Got it.
So you can leverage that if their guest is acting up. They can, charge their credit card. They can reimburse you directly.
Got it.
I've had it happen a couple times where some guests skipped out and didn't pay for some things, and Airbnb had to pony up. Otherwise,
So you got somebody backing you, so you're not in it by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. And then, like you said, if you do have a midterm rental, let's say you don't live in San Diego. Like I have a friend, he has a house in Cows Mountain. He's renting it to a friend now, but he wants to build an ADU and he wants to start doing like midterm rentals and stuff. And then that way his family can come in the summers and still be in San Diego.
Exactly.
And then go back to hot ass Austin when, for a school year because he has 2 kids. So that's a benefit than just doing a traditional rental as well.
I think that's a perfect setup. Like if you have an investment property or a vacation home you want to kind of leverage, like that's perfect because you can block off the calendars for when you want it. It's a free vacation for you, right? You're not paying for hotels or somebody else's Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then it's making money for you and building equity if you own it.
Right.
Now, you did mention ADUs.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to drop a little thing. A lot of people know this, but not everybody does.
Yeah.
In California, ADUs can no longer be use for short-term rentals under 30 days or 30 days and under.
Got it.
But you can always switch to midterm rentals.
Okay.
And you can get on these sites for travel nurses and corporate housing, insurance relocations that need something for a month or more.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Okay. And then if someone wants to be mentored by you, how does that work, or what does that look like?
I have a little consultation kind of questionnaire that we send out. People can book a Calendly appointment, and we can kind of chat 15 minutes for free, and then we can do a kind of a more detailed analysis, once we kind of figure out what they need.
Right.
And, I think people have been really responding positively to that and be like, okay, Gabe kind of knows
what he's talking about. Yeah, and you invested time. You've obviously done it. The doers are the best people to learn from, in my opinion. Let's talk about the Turo fleet.
Oh, yeah.
How many cars do you have, and what's your favorite car?
Well, I've got, I have 6 total. Some are getting worked on right now. One has a vehicle recall on it from the dealer. It was a brand new Lexus.
No.
And it's so funny because Turo deplatformed it, and so we're waiting on. So some things like that can happen where you're like, oop, I can't rent this out right now until this, something beyond my control gets fixed. So you really have to make some smart decisions on what cars you're putting up on the platform, what price points you got them at. When I started 4.5 years ago doing Turo, you could almost throw any car up on there and it would make money because it was during the height of the pandemic. All the rental car platforms were shut down or had no inventory.
Yeah, Hertz filed bankruptcy, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most of them sold off their inventory, their fleet.
Yeah.
Most of their fleet. So that was a prime opportunity for us to take over that market. Well, now that the rental car industry has their cars back and they can undercut you, in terms of pricing, it's a lot more difficult for people. And I've seen people bail on Turo left and right. Same as Airbnb, people are bailing left and right.
Okay.
So it's like there's a lot of detailed little things you got to do to make sure that you're making a profit. I think for myself, I like to bundle my short-term rentals and the cars together.
Right.
So as soon as I get a booking from Airbnb or Vrbo or Booking.com or wherever, I'm like, hey, do you need a vehicle? Check out these ones. Do you want the Tesla? Do you want the Jeep? Do you want the 4Runner? Do you want the Lex? Do you want my little
options? Yeah,
do you want my little Vanderhall coupe thing for fun?
I want to see
anniversary.
that still.
Dude, we got to go for a ride.
Yeah, I want to do that.
That'll be fun. So it's kind of an added, kind of an upsell for my guests and who love the convenience, of having a car and a house for under the same kind of plan. And that's been really popular.
Do you direct them through your own website as well to book directly to you so you get more money back?
I do. Yeah.
I like this guy's smart, guys.
Yeah. There's a little more nuances you got to do with that too, because, hey, do you have insurance? Are you protected? You don't have an Airbnb, backing you, and claim submission. So there are a little more risks that way, but there's also a lot of rewards. So weigh your options.
I mean, hey, when you're doing anything where you can make money, there's risk. So that's not a bad thing. And then let's talk. You also have some locations out of the country too now, right?
Yeah.
Are you working on it still?
Yeah. I've had 2. Did have 2 in Tijuana, right across the border. The owner sold one. I was just renting from her. Okay. And she ended up selling it to someone who didn't want to do Airbnb. They wanted to move their family in. Totally fine. But they kept all my Ring cameras and my door locks. I want those back, man. But I ended up co-hosting for another family down there, a brand new build on the top of a hill. You can actually look over the border wall. Wow. Into San Diego, downtown, and also all the way down the coast in Mexico as well. Nice. And so I'm really enjoying that. People love that property, and I'm looking at investing more down into Mexico and actually getting my business license down there, so it's a little easier to move money and actually do things.
Okay. So that experience, how much different was it than doing it in San Diego, or was it the same for you?
It was brutal.
Let's talk
foreign
about
taxes,
it.
you
Let's talk
know,
about it.
VAT taxes, withholding taxes, like all, you know, they were just taking so much money from you.
Okay.
You really have to delve into the laws of each country, you
Okay.
know, and really figure out what's
Understand.
going on with there because, yeah, I didn't. When I first started, I could have jumped in. I'm like, wait a second. Where's 36% of my money going? Oh, it's going to taxes? What? That ain't right. But it is kind of cool. And, you know, I wanted to try my hand at international travel, but I
Okay.
was too scared to invest in someplace really far away.
Right.
And so I figure we're in San Diego. Tijuana's right across the border.
Yeah.
It'd be, at least I could get down there and fix something if I needed to,
Okay.
you know. Tip, if you guys want to do something south of the border, get your Century Pass
Yeah.
because you can get in and out across the border a lot quicker. Well, you can get out from the Mexico side to the American side a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You can tie your cars to it as well so that, you know, you're not sitting in a line for 3 hours every day.
Yeah. Definitely easier to get in than it is to get out.
Yeah. No, you can waltz on in as,
Yeah,
you know,
walk right across the border, no
it's
problem.
easy.
Getting
Yeah.
back ain't the same
nope.
unless you have Century. So I agree with that.
Mhm.
So now that you've kind of dived into that area, would there be other countries that you would do it like Italy or somewhere like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, I want to buy property in Italy. I'm actually
Okay.
Italian citizen as well.
Nice.
I got my dual citizenship through the kind of the hereditary.
Okay.
You know, if you can prove that you have family there,
Yeah.
you can. So I'd love to purchase some property there soon. I was out vacationing in Dubai and
Sick.
Thailand and a few other places, and
Sick.
I was like, I could see
You-
having a vacation property here too. You know?
You know Marco, he sells solar.
Yeah.
Talk to him, man. That he's in Italy all the time. That's where he's from.
Dude, yeah. I got to talk to him.
Yeah,
man.
talk
That'd
to
be
him.
great. That would be
I'm
great.
sure he can give you the ins and outs of all of it.
And I have family there too, so it would be great to be able to leverage, you know, and be like,
yeah.
hey, can your kids go clean the house? No, you know,
I mean, hey,
give them a job, right?
yeah, for sure. I don't think that would be a bad thing. And then what was I gonna ask? I forgot. Oh, is there a car that you want to add to your fleet that you are thinking about?
You know, I would love to add some luxury models, but I don't know if it's really, you know, profitable at this juncture.
Okay.
But I think I would love to grow the luxury line.
Okay.
But economy cars do really well on Turo.
Okay.
You know, hybrids do really well. Teslas, there's a whole lot of them on the platform. I've seen like people selling or renting their Teslas for like $65-$70 a day. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Well, what's right now? What is the average price that you on a good I guess return for rental of a vehicle?
That's a difficult one. I have
What would advice would you give? I guess to be the safest way to get into Turo right now.
I think do your research in your area. Turo has this thing called Calculator. It's like a
Okay.
calculator for cars. You could put in a make and model. It'll also tell you what the most profitable ones were or the least profitable or the best ROI. And you can kind of be like, okay, yeah, my Chevy Malibu will fit, you know, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I heard there's like, is it like ride sharing apps too? So you can rent box trucks and that type of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there
well.
are some of those too. Yeah.
So people that
Yeah.
maybe not have the credit or whatever, they need a vehicle to do their job, so then they can rent from you. I heard that's a way to do it.
That'd be cool too. There's a lot of these like, even one of my Airbnbs, we rent out the garage for storage to people.
Okay.
And it's a platform called neighbor.com, and you can just rent storage spaces like a parking lot or a driveway or a crawl space, whatever you need. And so that's another thing. Like I'm a big fan of like using what you already have,
Okay.
leveraging what you already have. So if you have 2 cars and you're not using one, rent one out, you know.
Okay.
If you got storage space, you know, rent that out, you know, those type of side hustles where you're not actually having to put in the hours to make the money, but you're providing a service when somebody else is paying you, you know, so that you can put your hours into something else. And I think that's how you can scale up effectively and, you know, like take yourself out of the rat race. Because I think that's what a lot of people are doing, right? They have their day jobs. then they have their side hustles because they're trying to get out of their day job,
Right.
you know, and it's like, well, okay, what other things could you leverage, you know, to accomplish that goal quicker, I guess.
For
You know?
furnishing your places, do you do that all yourself?
I've started hiring an interior designer and some people to help out with that. But yeah, I'm pretty involved. We were just out picking up this giant 12-seater table that's like
Okay.
106 inches long
Okay.
and like 4 feet wide or something. And for this new 3-bedroom that we're doing in Mission Bay. So, hauling that around. So
you got a
it's
truck
fun.
to do that stuff, or you,
Mm-hmm.
so you
Yeah.
got a truck, you got your vehicles, and then as far as like, do you get discount on the furniture?
Yeah. If you buy in bulk, you can get discounts on furniture. You can get some like B2B partnering with like Wayfair or,
Nice.
some of these other companies to provide stuff at a like more like a bulk or wholesale pricing.
Okay.
So that helps out. Once you scale up past, 5-6 units or something like that, you can start getting into that kind of like, B2B pricing, which really helps out.
What's the goal? Like, how many units do you want to have eventually, or is there infinity? Like,
Honestly, I kind of want to keep growing it organically and see
Okay.
where it takes me.
okay,
I would love to have 100, units or something like that. But
okay,
with that big of a range, does that just mean more
More-
problems,
yeah.
more issues, right?
right,
I know some guys who have under 15 and they're millionaires and they're set and they're just super happy and they don't
Right.
have a whole lot, of just extra stuff going on.
right,
So I think as our business kind of like, expands and stuff, I want to see where it can go and make some real logical decisions and make some,
right.
just have enough to be, great. And then maybe buy some other businesses. I want to buy an avocado farm, like
Okay,
I want to maybe buy a storage business.
Okay. I
some-
want to do I want an ice cream parlor, like
Ice cream
salt
parlor?
and straw or whatever, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Not necessarily that one, but I feel like those make money.
See, if I have that in my arsenal,
Yeah.
I'm going to be visiting and eating ice cream all the time. I'm going to get
mean,
so chubbers.
That's all good, man. I like salt and straw in Little Italy, right off India Street. So
Oh,
even on
yeah.
a rainy day or whatever, the line is all the way around the
Mhm.
block. Or shaved ice, like in Hawaii they do that,
That would be cool.
and the ingredients and stuff are very like,
Simple,
cheap.
cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can make a bunch of money. So those are businesses that interest me.
Yeah. If you have like quality ingredients, quality, products
Mhm.
that are just simple, you don't have to spend $1 million. But when it comes down to like, the quality, the marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like creating a buzz, those kind of things.
So for you, do you market your businesses, or do you just let the platforms kind of help you, and then you really hit home the service level when the guests come, and then kind of just keep them in your
Yeah, we try to really kind of like, under promise, over deliver just a tad.
Mhm.
We want to be really truthful with what you're getting.
right,
I have some luxury properties. I have some more economy, properties.
right,
So it's like I don't want to oversell, this economy property, and then they're underwhelmed when they get there, right? And they're like,
Right.
"Man, this sucks," you know. So it's really like controlling those expectations of what you're getting. If you have a Honda Civic that's a 2010 or whatever, that's kind of junked over, and you're trying to rent that on Turo,
yeah.
you better acknowledge the fact that this is what it is, not have like, stellar photos and,
and like like some girl at the beach.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What I should be doing is that, like Rich did at Margaritas and Mingle, I should ask people to subscribe.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just enjoy doing this, man. If I could
Yeah.
make money doing it, it would be amazing. But so far, just paying to do it. But
Well, it's also good for your brand, right? It's
Right.
like, K2, right? You're going
Right.
to be like, okay, I also have this,
right.
so it's kind of like, yeah.
And what people have said, when they go through the episodes, I've had a lot of high quality people, because I don't just pick anybody.
Yeah.
Like some people, they're just like, having everybody on. I don't want it to be that. So when I meet like you or just different people where I'm like, yeah, not only are they good people, but they're doing stuff that can help the community and they know what they're talking about. I want those people on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm not pumping out as many shows as I could, but I want them to all be quality people on the show. So that's why it's an honor to have you on.
Dude, rocking it, man.
We're recording.
Oh shit! You recorded all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
So like we were talking about with the real estate, like someone buying a property, they're doing a short-term rental, midterm rental, Airbnb, whatever. They have that property 10 years from now, it's going to be worth more. So is that why you got into real estate with the licensing now?
Yeah. I got my real estate license recently. I just signed with a really great brokerage, local brokerage here, who we both know, Mike Blair.
Shout out to Mike Blair.
Shout out to Mike. Homie Mike.
Right.
He's an amazing guy. He's got a great team. And I really felt like I could partner with them with my angle, which is like using that real estate license to and that knowledge to for investment properties and helping out my friends and family who kind of want to, kind of do what I'm doing as well in their own way. And so, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to owning more of my properties as opposed to co-hosting for other people.
Okay.
And kind of building out my net worth that way.
Nice.
And maybe even adding a few more cars to the fleet as well. But what I'm really looking for right now is a great like fourplex kind of a scenario or a multifamily home that I can really make unique in my own style. Each of my houses has a different kind of vibe and uniqueness.
Nice.
But at the same time, they know that when they go to one Kubanda property, it's going to be, there's going to have a same kind of ethos or vibe as another Kubanda property as well. They're going to have a similar situation or feeling that, hey, they're going to get taken care of, the hospitality levels up here, my people are on point.
Yeah. You should make Kubanda Estates. Like that could be your.
Oh, that would be dope.
That'd be your branding.
That would be dope. Estates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that even sounds better than properties.
Yeah, Kubanda Estates. Like you have a shirt, get a hat, like all that. Like, bro, I got you, man. I'm the brand ambassador.
Yeah, you ever watch Spaceballs back in the day? Merchandising.
Yeah, I think that would be dope. So then what do you see in the future? You got any announcements or anything?
Yeah, really gonna be really pursuing more on the real estate angle of things, purchasing investment properties, turning them into really amazing multifamily, midterm and short-term rentals.
Okay.
More vehicles I might start acquiring as well. Got some new music coming out.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we're just kind of going up, slowly but surely, like everything. And I'm really excited about that.
I think what will put you ahead of a lot of realtors out there is you could say, if you buy a property and I help you buy it, I can help you get it running.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's
Versus like, use me for your realtor and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
one-stop shopping.
As you help those people, if they decide to sell, then they come back to you. So I think you can really, really tear things up in this market because that's the biggest thing is in California and San Diego, as an example, if I buy a place, will it cash flow? Mm-hmm. So that's why they go to other states. And then squatters. Everyone's worried about the rental laws and the government and all that. So you kind of know how to navigate through those ways. So I would use that as your reason why should I use you over the next realtor?
Exactly. And that's what I've kind of noticed. It's been growing kind of word of mouth.
Yeah.
I haven't really had to advertise a lot because it's kind of like, well, hey, what are you doing with your house? Your Airbnb? Yeah, Gabe's has it under his property manager. It's killing it. Right. Yeah, you should talk to him if you want to do that. He's going to get you a good, good return. Or, same with, buying a house now or whatever, like Gabe can kind of teach you the ropes, or he can put it under his management company, his umbrella, and have it kind of be running very autonomously. One thing I feel like that's really good is, especially as you scale up, beyond, let's say, 7, 8, 10 properties is like getting those automations down, getting, things that are working without you having to put it in. It's a lot of legwork up front, but once it's there, it's a template, right? And you can kind of be reproducing it.
Okay.
And I kind of think about it the same. It's all hospitality, it's all customer service. So if you and your team are really focused on that, the word of mouth is just going to continue. And then add on social media marketing and retargeting for your past guests and all this kind of stuff. You can really grow by leaps and bounds.
And Gabe, I see you could grow a team and teach them the stuff that you're talking about. You could coach other realtors to do this kind of stuff to make them different. And I just see a whole bunch of stuff you can do with what you got going. So
I'm excited, man.
I think I'm excited. Should be.
It's funny. I got in when I was in music, right? Like I was always enthralled by like musicians and rappers who like had their other like businesses on the side as well. Like, Jay-Z would have, his shoes, or Kanye had his Yeezys or whatever, right? Like Rihanna has a perfume line or whatever.
Makeup line. That's how she became a billionaire.
It's like, I wanted like these other kind of facets of my personality, and so Kubanda Properties was a way that I could like, this is mine. This is my branding,
Kubanda Estates.
Yeah, Kubanda Estates. I like that. I gotta get that right when I get home. Domain name. If you don't get it first.
No, I'll never do that.
He's charging me like $1 million for my. So, somebody got my last name, .com, and it's, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars it is for that. I can't get it.
Well,
I was like, man.
So originally, knowledge to currency was something I found or made up during COVID, and then never bought the domain or whatever. So then I go to buy the domain. The guy buys the domain and spells it wrong. So then I'm like, man. So then I was going to make K2C TV. Never did it. So then I'm on GoDaddy trying to get everything squared away. And then I talked to the people at GoDaddy, and they're like, all right, well, we can't use knowledge of currency, or we can use knowledge of currency, but we can't use K2C. I was like, who has K2C? They're like, Microsoft got K2C. What? So if I had freaking got K2C originally, because knowledge of currency is awesome, but what I'm starting to see is the shorter, when you like do emails and stuff like that, is just better than typing a long name. So I could have had the name, but now Microsoft has it, so they name a software after it.
Yeah, you're never getting it now.
Never getting it. So that's why we do K2 currency.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I want to thank you for coming on the show. We're out of time, and I would love to have you back. And if there's nothing that we haven't covered or any other announcements, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Gabe Kubanda from Kubanda Properties, Gabe Kubanda Realty now. Yeah. And maybe Kubanda Estates in the future.
Yeah. What's your social media too?
You can find me anywhere, Gabe Kubanda or Kubanda Properties, mostly on Instagram, I think is where most of the stuff lives. And KubandaProperties.com if you need to book a rental property or a vacation rental or a car.
Yeah. Or
hear some music. Find me on YouTube, music videos, on Spotify, iTunes, wherever.
And in the words of Dr. Dre, just chill till the next episode and it's a wrap.
Woo!
Man, that was awesome.
Yeah.